Hello everyone and welcome to Map the Dragon Railways, and today in this video we're going to be taking a look at a Bachmann Standard 5 locomotive. And yeah, it's a nice BR Black tender engine, so we'll get into more details in a second. But first I want to talk about how much I paid for this model, because this is the reason why I'm reviewing it. Now, I picked this model up for, wait for it, £15. Yep. £15 for it is high quality Bachmann steam locomotive with a tender, so you know that's very, very good value. Yeah, I got this and a Pullman coach together, and it worked out £15. So yeah, I'm very, very shocked, and it's like the bargain of the century, isn't it? So yeah, I'm gonna have a good look at this. Now, of course, these locos aren't 15 quid normally. I just got really, really lucky. So I'm already not even at the end of my conclusion. I'm going to tell you what I think this model is worth now. Personally, I think second hand you should look about £100, around that. And I feel like if you bought brand new, I think I've seen on Bachmann's website a little while ago they were about 160 odd quid. There's a few changes. If it's different to how it is and got the changes I will talk about later, then possibly worth up there, but I'd probably shy away from that full price. So anyway, let's get this down to the wooden table and open the box and see what you get inside. I hope it's a standard class 5. So here we go, the Bachmann Standard 5. Now, as you may be able to tell, this is older packaging. And from what I've seen, they still release them to this day. So you can tell this model has been around for a little while now. Anyway, if you want to pick one of these up, the exact model, then it's 32-503. And it's the standard class 5NT number 73030 in BR Black with the early emblem and a BR1 tender. So let's get this open, and it's one of these lovely polystyrene sheets, and we got the nice card insert here, and yeah, you've got a nice photograph of a standard 5, and it's not of the standard 5 that this model is based off of, but yeah, it's quite a nice picture after all. So I'm just going to open this up and put all this aside, and we've got some paperwork. And the first one is your standard collector's club and your guarantee, so we don't really need to look at that, do we, at all? And this one's probably the more important one, and it's the wonderful Bachmann split diagram, nothing on the back. And here we can have a very nice look at what we've got. So let's have a look. So you seem to have a decent, nice and chunky worm gear there. So yeah, it's definitely not split chassis, which is quite good because some older Bachmann models have a split chassis. But yeah, it looks interesting. No flywheel on that motor though. But do you know what? I think that looks okay. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think I'd be happy with one of these as a non-runner for the price I paid, to be honest. Some people probably pay more for that. Anyway, we've got to have a look at the detail bag, and in here we've got screw link couplings, steps, and cylinder cocks. Now this one, when I picked it up, has already been opened, so there's indeed a missing cylinder cock in there. So this detail bag in this review might not show off everything you'd get in the detail bag, because maybe some of it's been lost or put into the locomotive. So to bring up suspense, I think I shall pull out the tender. So just got to put go through the back, and there we go. And that's a very nice looking tender. Now just to note before I forget to say, someone has fitted their own coal, which is quite nice. But yeah, so we can't see what the factory coal was like. But what we can tell is that it was removable, and that looks quite nice, doesn't it? So yeah, we'll have a closer look at that in a second. So let's have a quick look at the locomotive itself then. And I'm just going to do it around the camera, which is very, very awkward. And here's a standard 5 itself. Now this has got a good deal of weight to it. Not extremely heavy, but to the side where it's, you know, it's good enough and it will pull a lot. Turns out you know, there's a component missing. This seems to be a common problem from what I've seen, where these will snap and break and then fall off. We've got the older tender drawbar, which it's quite a bit of old-fashioned technology, but you know, it's an older model. Just to let you know, this detail is broken off. So yeah, you can see some details that aren't very strong. Well, the seller I bought this off said, because I bought it off them in person, they said just as they were putting it in the box a few days before I purchased it, he accidentally broke this, which is part of the regulator, because on these the regulator was, you know, would go on the outside and go on the side of the boiler. I know I've gone out of focus, but yeah, I did try and glue that yesterday, but I'll try and fix that. But yeah, overall it looks quite nice, doesn't it? A very nice finish. Bachmann always do a very nice finish on their models. And yeah, I think that goes rather nicely. So without further ado, let's get this on a white background and check out its detail. So here we have the Bachmann Standard Class 5 on the white background, and I'm just going to let you know that I fixed that one part for the regulator. Just a tiny blob of super glue done the job. So yeah, I must stress that this model in this review is, you know, a worn down version, you know, one that has seen some service. So in a way that's quite good, because you can see what parts are most robust and what fall apart. So yeah, brand new, of course, it would be in a better condition. For example, the component for your speedometer would still be in one piece and not have completely disappeared. But yeah, overall it's a nice model, and definitely for 15 quid. So to start off, as I said on the table, the finish is really nice. You've got this very intricate lining. I see nothing wrong with it. That's along the running plate, on the cab side, and on the boiler itself. And don't forget the cylinders. Talking around the cylinder area, we've got the wheels, and they're very nicely done, as well as your valve gear. But the only thing I can fault with this is the visible screws, which you may be able to pick out. Overall, there's some nice moulded detail on this model, on the boiler and everything. You've got the washout plug detail and the steps and all this moulded gubbins. And yeah, that looks quite nice, as well as some separately fitted components like the handrails and that piece for the regulator, which look really nice. Other separately fitted components includes a metal whistle, which is actually behind the chimney instead of around here. Now some had this. And you've got two metal safety valves, which is very nice. The dome's very nicely done, and the chimney is as well. And there is a moulding line on the top, but you can barely notice it. So here's the top, and like I say, you can only just about pick it out here where it's, you know, most noticeable. So you've got detail for the cab roof vents, but that's only moulded, none of that comes off. And yeah, it looks rather nice. Taking a look at the front of this model, you've got a nice smoke box door there, and the number picks out rather nicely. If I just pick it up and show it to you there, you've got steps there, as well as sprung buffers, which are very nice. You've got NEM couplings, that's on the front of the loco and the tender. We'll get onto the tender in a second. You've got a nice plaque on the side, which is legible. So yeah, that's really nice. And you've got a nice separately fitted smoke box door handle. Let's have a look at the cab detail. If I just pick up the model and turn him around and let it go and focus. And yeah, it's not painted. It's rather basic to a point, but there is a separately fitted regulator, which looks really nice. I don't know if you can just make that out there. And you've got, yeah, it's quite nicely done. It's got seats and everything. You've got this nice handrail around here as well that's separately fitted. But yeah, it's plain, isn't it? It's still very nicely moulded, but for a modern loco, that's one thing I feel this model needs. Another thing that's a shame about this model is the tender drawbar. It's this old standard, quite old-fashioned, you know, with the two holes. But that means that the tender doesn't pick up any electricity, which is another thing I feel like for a modern price tag that is what you need. Now let's have a look at the tender. Well, we've got a very nice finish as normal. The BR crest and the nice lining done is the same standard as what's on the locomotive. Like I've already said, this coal isn't factory fresh. This is someone's added that in the past. But yeah, it looks nice. You've got the dome because it would have had a water scoop. Which, if you don't know what a water scoop is, it's on the tender. The fireman would see a sign and he'd have to wind it down, and a scoop would literally lower into these troughs, and it would chuck all the water into the tender. It's quite a clever thing that they've done. You've also got the cap where you'd fill up the water as standard. You've got a separately fitted handrail here, which is very fine, as well as being very, very nice. And along the bottom here, you've got some good underframe detail, the nice gaps, and picked out the ends of the axles. So yeah, that looks really nice, good springs and everything. I'm just going to rotate it this way. You can see a representation of what was like the buffers between loco and tender. You can see a representation of coal in there, and you see the doors and other details. They've been done very nice, and there's even a couple separately fitted pieces, as you might be able to work out there. Now taking a look at the back, well, you've got a couple of signs which are really nicely done. Moulded details done to a good standard. You've got the sprung buffers as well as the bit that stands out the most, which is probably this separately fitted ladder, which is really nicely and finely done. And again, you've got that NEM coupling, a hole for a vacuum pipe detail, and as well as a representation of a coupling hook. So yeah, that's a quick look and a brief look at all the detail on this model. And yeah, it's very, very well detailed, and it looks very, very nice, especially for £15. This is, like I say, a bargain of the century. But yeah, it's a very, very nice model. And, the looks might be, right up there. But is the performance right up there as well? Well, let's take it down on the layout. Have a look at its slow speed and see how it runs. And I'm going to tell you now, it's very, very good. So here we go, the standard class 5 down on the model railway, and this is a different angle to normal, isn't it? But yeah, there she is looking on the layout, and I must say, I do say this a lot, but she does have a very, very nice presence on the layout, and definitely shows a sense of power and reliability. So yeah, it looks really, really nice. The mechanism on this is okay, I'd say, for a model of its age as well, but I'm not going to go into deep detail about that. What I am going to go into detail about, though, is performance and slow speed. So I'm going to knock up the controller very slightly, and it is now humming, and it's already going. And you might just be able to make it out by using the fence down here when my finger's coming through. And yeah, that's a very, very nice slow speed, isn't it? Yep, very, very reliable. Right, let's just run it really slow. Oh, look at that. This is really smooth. Just bringing it back now. So smooth and so elegant. I also must say that I'm on second radius curves. The reason I'm saying this is because I actually have the tender put on the closer coupling setting, which is really, really good, isn't it? Because normally you don't have that with other models. Normally they wouldn't work on a closer coupling on something like second radius. But yeah, this is a very, very nice model. And it runs so smooth. And I've had this running 6 hours at a time. And it just does it faultlessly with nothing slowing it down or anything. Just very, very reliable and smooth. And you can run it at slow speed. In fact, I have ran that for 6 hours double heading with my Ivet, which you can just make out there, which I love that engine. But yeah, that proves how reliable these can be. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with this, as you can tell, especially for £15. I'm very, 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 very happy. I've never said very that much. But yeah, this is a really nice model, and I can't recommend one enough for about £100. Yeah, I'd say that's a good price. So yeah, I'm gonna couple this up to a train, and do I give you an opinion? Well, yeah, but you probably already know it. So yeah, let's just send it off with a train. You might just be able to see a Mark 1 up there, a BG, and it's coupled up. very nicely. Now, it's a little bit unprototypical today's train, but it's because A, I'm not very well with the dreaded C word at the moment as of filming, which is March. Yeah, hello October. But it's a couple Great Western, well, a few Great Western coaches and a BG Mark 1. Basically, I was running that with my railroad hall class yesterday filming, so I thought I'd just run in with that train. So yeah, I'll give you some running clips and all that, and then I shall say goodbye. Look at that though, effortlessly. So what is my opinion on Bachmann Standard Class 5 locomotive? Well, I think you already know. I'm very, very happy with this model, and overall I'm very, very pleased with how it is. It is such a smooth and great performer, and it's so well detailed, and it's worth every penny for £100, let alone 15, which I'm just amazed at. So yeah, can I recommend one of these? Definitely, 100% go get one if you want one, because they are very reliable, very smooth, and that they can run at a nice slow pace, even slower than this, very happily, and it'll do it for a very, very long period of time. But yeah, I just love this model an absolute ton, and it's always a pleasure to run it. And you know, it does prove in a way you don't need to spend a lot of money on a locomotive to have great fun and pleasure out of running it. So yeah, I'm just so pleased with this. So yeah, I can thoroughly recommend one of these. Now, I do apologise, this review probably isn't the best. I probably haven't given a good enough running time, as well as me not sounding great. So if you would like to see a better review, I shall try and remember to link a couple in the description. I'll link my Sentinel review and my wonderful Bachmann C-Class review. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, then leave a like, comment down below. Do you think I was too fair? I very much doubt you'd think I was too harsh. I was quite happy on this engine. Or just say hello to me. Share this with your friends, helps get the videos out. Or share a better video with your friends of mine. But yeah, and please consider subscribing to the channel. I do produce weekly content that is actually better than this. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Cheerio for now, stay safe. And I do also apologise for the cuts you'll get whilst the loco's passing, because that's the second I decide to stutter, apparently. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.